what are some of the things you need to keep in mind when you are thinking of starting a young adult church or a young adult fellowship? Welcome to Manifest Our Podcast. Welcome to Manifest Our Did you press play? Hi everyone, my name is Toluade and welcome to Manifest Hub, where we help young adults and young adult leaders build and cultivate and engage in young adult ministries. Yeah, I know it's been a minute, hasn't it? Well, happy 2022. It's never too late to say happy new year, right? I'm really glad you're joining me again for yet another episode. I'm glad you guys, you're still sticking and hanging out with me. Well, I'm back powerfully in 2022 with a bunch of really cool and exciting news that I'm going to be sharing a lot later on. But right now, let's talk about something that is more pertinent. So here, a lot of you guys have been thinking about starting a young adults church or a young adult service or young adult fellowship, you want to call it. And, I see a lot of, young adults just talking. I talk to a few young adults that really have that desire and just really ready to just launch and execute. And I'm always like, whoa, let's back up here a little bit. Have we done the foundational work? So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what are some of the things you need to keep in mind when you are thinking of starting a young adult church or a young adult fellowship. First things first, we need to define the what, right? So what gap are you trying to fill? What needs did you see that is missing maybe in your current, like maybe adult service that young adults are not able to, access, that you think a young adult service or a young adult church is going to provide to your young adults? If it's really to just do a young adult church or start a young adult church because the next church or like other churches around are starting it, you're in for like a harsh reality, because starting a church is not just based on, let's do it because everybody else is doing it. You really need to have a mandate, essentially, right? Like, what are you trying to do exactly? Why is your church different from the other church? Because believe it or not, every church has a different mandate that God has called them to do. Okay, so you would want to find out what those things are. So that said, I would say, before you, as you're figuring out the what, you would want to visit a few churches, that have done this, that have replicated this, started a young adult church, and you want to visit them, like shadow their services online, see how they are online, and then maybe go to the church in person. Maybe do 2 or 3 churches, go to church in person, like be in their services, just enjoy it, see how the young adults are. What are some of the few things that you're picking up from there? Take mental notes, or you can take actual notes, and then go a step further, talk to their leaders, right? Honestly, I always say you really don't know what's going on until you talk to like the inner people, right? Because they can give you some insights that you would generally not see on a certain Sunday service or online. So talk to the leaders, ask questions, ask a lot of questions. And I'm sure, people are willing to share with you. Okay. Number 2, I would say why. Define your why. What is your purpose? What is this church or this service or this fellowship's purpose? Like, why are they there? Why should young adults come to this church? Why should young adults stay at this church? And this step, you would want to start thinking about things like core values. So core values are really just the behaviors and the values that bind us together, what that speaks of our culture as a group of people. Core values really just also directs the behaviors of the leadership team, and also helps the people to understand what the leadership team uses to make decisions. So core values, you want to determine what do you want the core values of your church to be. Some churches are known for like excellence, like you walk in there and it's just excellence personified. Some, young adult churches are just known for love, like they're just huggers. Like some young adult churches are known for giving, so you want to figure out what your core value is for your church, and you guys will want to pen that down. This why section is really where a lot of people drop the ball, because they haven't done this foundational work of figuring out what, like pretty much just drawing a picture or the future picture of the church, like 5 years from now, what do they want it to look like on paper, right? So this is really, really important, which moves us to the third key. Who are your people? Do you have change leaders? Do you have spearheaders? Pretty much, do you have leaders? Do you have people, hands and feet to run this vision? Don't be thinking, is that, that guy in church or that girl in church, like, oh, they preach a lot and, oh yeah, they should they can be our youth pastor. No, it's not just that simple, because even if they're willing to, quickly enough, they're going to get frustrated and probably move to another church because they will get burnt out if they're the only one doing the work. So you need a team of people, not just a youth pastor for you. You need, other people that are like going to help them in this vision. So it can't just be one person. So you need to figure out, do we have capable hands to run this vision, to really take it from start and just take it off the ground? If you don't have capable hands, you want to start looking at, okay, are there potential people that we need to build, that we need to increase their capacity, that needs to go for maybe some leadership or church leadership trainings? What kind of trainings do we need, right? So you want to be able to fill that knowledge gap, or to fill that spiritual strength or spiritual empowerment, or whatever you want to call it, gap. Right? So is it that, people are not really great to leadership, or they're not good with influencing people, and they have the potential? You want to get a group together and, look for specific trainings to help you. And this is why also I said it's really important to talk to other people that have done it before, because they give you insight as to what you need to do. Now, finally, this is important. Timeline. When are you trying to launch? What are the timelines? This is where you need to talk about or decide on what needs to happen when. So don't just figure it out on the fly, or oh yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. No, you need to cross the bridge on paper. So now, that's why I talked about the team, the people. So those people are now going to sit down and map out all these things, like the vision, the core values, what needs to happen when, what are the meeting times. So put it in calendars, have the date set in stone, so people don't say, oh no, I didn't know, or I already booked travel, or I'm busy, I can't come. No, like have the dates like from 6 months out, almost even a year out if you can. So everyone is aligned, everyone is on the same page, everyone is running with the same spirit. So it's really important for you to have the timeline. You need to figure out also other things. You need to find out, are there official documents that need to be signed, that need to be submitted, tax documents, non-for-profit documents, maybe registering with like a larger body. Does your church belong, like this young adult church you're trying to start, does it belong to like a larger or like global body? Do you need to register? You want to look at all those things. Now I want to talk about something really key here. So starting a church, like I talked about earlier, it's not just any kind of assignment. It's not just, oh, we feel like it, or like, oh, everybody is doing it. No, this is like a spiritual assignment. And if you would see in the epistles, that is why Paul was really intentional about when he goes to start a church, he makes sure the person that he leaves in that church to grow it is like somebody strong. And then beyond that, he checks in on them. So he understands the importance of this assignment, not just to him, but also to God. Because by you starting a church, you're creating a space for believers to come, or people that are not believers to come and receive the gift of salvation and grow in their faith, right? So because of that, for this reason, as a result of this, you need the primary thing, which is prayer. And prayer is essentially you just asking a higher power, and in our case, God, to help with something where you are acknowledging that your strength cannot really do as much. So prayer is really important. I cannot stress this enough. You need to pray about this vision. In prayers, the Lord will give you guys direction. It will give your team mandates. Like he'll tell you specifically what's the mandates, what kind of people is he sending to your church. So that way, when you see them, you're able to recognize them and you're able to meet those needs, as opposed to you trying to be like another church. So this is key. I want to say, do not ever, don't try to be like the next church, because they're already them. I know this is so cliche, but this is really, really important. That's why you will see, in the scriptures, in the epistles, there's the Ephesians church, there's the Colossian church, there's the Corinthian church. Like they're all different churches that God has called to do different things. And you'll see also in Revelations, the Lord like talks about like, the things that the feedback he has for each of those churches. So you really, really need to find out what the mandate is specifically for your own church. And finally, brethren and sistren, just follow the Holy Spirit. just follow him. Like, don't try to follow the next church. It will give you the template exactly for your own church and how you guys are supposed to proceed from there. That said, I want to give a shout out to a church, a young adult church that just started. I think maybe just started by the time this video will be out, or if it's out before they start. They launched, or they are launching, March 27th, I believe. And that is the Vive Church. It's a daughter or son church of RCCG, House of Praise Calgary. You guys are doing an amazing job, amazing work you guys are doing out there. I visited the church and oh my gosh, like the young adults are so amazing. So if you are ever in Calgary, you should totally visit the Vive Church or follow them on Instagram. I'm going to put the link down below and just check them out. And if you live in Calgary, it's totally worth it. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me on yet another episode. I promise you I'm not going to run off on you again. More exciting things coming up and manifest of this year. On that note, talk to you later.